I've been working out for a few years now. And when I started working out, I hope that that myth of if you work out, you're gonna get bulky was true. Because back then when I started, I was trying to put some weight on. So when I started out, I was just kind of puttering around with the weights. I was doing bicep curls till the cows came home because like that was all I really knew how to do and all I was really comfortable with. Maybe a couple more basic exercises, but that's it. Now, after creeping enough people at the gym and copying what they were doing, I was upping my game a little bit. So now I was doing a little bit of free weight exercises, I was sipping on my BCAAs, and my workouts were getting a little bit better. I discovered the wonderful world of free weight workouts. When I spotted my first bicep vein, I knew it was time to take it to the next level and compete. So I hired a coach, I got myself a lifting belt, and I started training for my first fitness competitions. My muscles got bigger and my shirts got smaller. And after 2 competitions and 2 trophies, I decided that it was time to hang up my stripper heels in Orangetown and retire. Now that I'm retired, I only train for life. Now, during my many years of frequenting the gym and watching guys sweat all over the machines and grunt really loud, I noticed that many men, many men, are skipping legs or just not paying equal attention to their lower body as they do their upper body. Now, I say guys because we all know that women are the complete opposite. With booty being the most favorite body part these days, girls are in the gym doing the most when it comes to their legs and booties. Hence, I am only pointing out the boys here. So these boys are at the gym, they're working out their chest and their arms and their backs and their shoulders. They're wearing tank tops with some like other super tight shirt and usually long sweatpants on the bottom. Now they're working hard, they're sweating, they're picking weights up, they're putting them down, I guess this was the other way around, and they're just working hard and checking themselves out after every single set. Now they'll be there for a couple of hours at a time and no one can argue that these people are not working hard. They're working harder than I am. But what are they really working on? Only what already looks great, putting in more effort, making it look even more great. Which brings me to the concept of mastery. Now, the word mastery can sound very intimidating. It sounds like someone who is already really great at something. I mean, the word master is in the word. It's kind of like you're an expert at something, a professional. Mastery isn't a status, it's a process through which someone becomes somewhat of an expert at something if they continue to stick with it. Now, what does the process of mastery actually entail? Well, a few things. One of them involves practice, lots and lots of practice. You've probably heard of the 10,000 hour rules to become an expert, well, that kind of practice. But practicing mindfully, just going through the motions isn't enough. You're not going to get better just by clocking the time in. You must actually pay attention to what you're doing. Another thing is to isolate and improve. It's not just working on the parts that make you feel good about yourself because you're already slaying them and they're coming really easy. It's about putting even more work into the parts that are lagging to bring those up to the same level as the rest of the things that are already going well. Now, you're only going to be as strong as your weakest part, hence this is why you're focusing on it. Another thing is that it's looking for the best way, not just a way. It's a never-ending process of improvements and there really is no finish line. If you've ever tried something and found a solution and now you're like, this'll do, this is where things start to stagnate. Going back to the same process, seeing how you can make it better is what mastery is about. Mastery is also about tiny improvements. Growth doesn't have to be huge. It could be like a slightest tweak for the better. It's about making things better by even just 1%. Now, keeping all that in mind, going back to the guys from the gym that we talked about earlier, no one can argue that they're not working hard. They are for sure. But somewhere a while back when they started working out, they started focusing on their upper body a lot more than their lower body, which either they thought that maybe it wasn't that important or maybe it had always been a lagging part and it's been very stubborn. So the harder they worked at what already felt good and they were already naturally inclined at, the bigger that gap became between the weaker point and the stronger point. So with the weaker points lagging so far behind now, it's really no fun and it's completely discouraging to put any effort in, hence it's being further avoided. By putting more effort into the part that's already going great, you really can't make up for the stuff that's lagging. Everything needs to come up in order for things to come up. Now, maybe you don't care, you're like, Ivana, I don't care about my legs, no one cares about calves, I'll wear pants all year round, I don't care. And that's cool, just do whatever makes you happy. But this will be the bottleneck of your physique and your overall physical fitness. This imbalance could start straining your back, and let's not forget about missed opportunities like going to the beach because you can't wear pants at the beach. This is a more obvious example of like disproportionate use of effort, and I think most of us have probably seen something like this or can at least picture it. Now, working out myself for years, I know that there'll be weak points, and even with our best efforts, there's going to continue to be places that we're going to continue to lag in. But we have this in every other area too. Whether it's at a gym or anywhere else, we're going to have parts of the process that we're going to be good at and parts that we're not going to be good at. And mastery doesn't mean that you have to have a goal of becoming an expert at anything. It's deliberate practice of working at things to get better at them, period. Besides helping you to improve overall, it also prevents us from focusing on perfection. Now, perfection is wanting to be great at everything that you're doing. It's rewarding the talent, the ability to just be good at something as an indicator that you should continue to do more of that. The thing is, whether you're just trying to work on your squat, or you want to become a chef, or you want to get a PhD, you're going to encounter some resistance along the way. That talent you think you have is only going to carry you so far. So if you don't approach the process of, you know what, let's see how we can get through this, we're going to abandon a lot of things right away if we see that they aren't coming to us easily. When really, we could have figured it out, and we often could have gotten better at it had we just put some effort into working on the parts that we weren't good at to begin with. It doesn't have to be grueling work all the time, but show up to whatever it is that you want to improve on with full attention. Anything you try your hand at, you're probably not going to be that great at in the beginning. That's fairly normal. And even if you are decent, you're going to hit a wall not that far into the process. And it's okay to suck. It's meant to suck. It's not meant to feel good. So working through some of these humps is actually going to feel a lot more rewarding in the long run and make the little breakthroughs feel so much more amazing. Now, I can mention many things I have tried my hand at in the past. I realized I was only great at some aspects of it, but not really that great at others. And I tried patching up the strong part with the weak part, but it really wasn't a thing. For me at the gym, it was abs. I work out all of my other body parts, but my abs were never strong, so I was always discouraged from just working on those. I engaged my core in other exercises, so I really didn't feel like I needed to put even more effort into it. Was I falling apart? Not immediately. But without a strong core, my back was starting to hurt, which is what I was seeing. I was getting away to a point, but I was hitting a plateau, and I knew that I wasn't going to progress in my strength or my overall performance if I was putting off all of that. Plus, let's not even talk about the long-term effects of it. So now, when I go to the gym, I start with some ab workouts. I still don't like it, I still suck at it, but I know that if I want to get better, I have to put effort in, so I do. And over time, I see my strengths going up. It's only allowing me to progress and do harder and harder things. So like I said, there were other things in the past, and I get that me telling you what you should focus on isn't gonna make you do it. Sometimes you need to see for yourself how far you can go without adjusting anything to see only how far you can go without adjusting anything. You know what I'm saying? So share in the comments below what has been something that you have been avoiding and how has this affected your overall progress.